I wanted to play Pathologic in a way different than usual. Normally, you would survive by trading, brewing tinctures, and working at the hospital, but for what I've decided to call the Psychopath playthrough, all of these things are banned. For this run, I'm going to kill as many people as possible, including all of the bound, and I'm going to keep my reputation at hated in all districts throughout the entire run. This makes it so my only consistent source of food is the Shady Shop. This challenge comes with a few rules. As I mentioned before, I'm not allowed to do any trading, and this includes the dead item shop. I'm also not allowed to loot any children's caches or pick any herbs, and working at the hospital is banned. These rules make it so that in order to survive, I'll have to rely on killing people, selling organs, and stealing as much as I can, hence the name of the run. And that's it for the rules, so let's start the challenge. Once I got off the train and looted these bodies, the first thing I'm doing is running to Ruben's house. Ruben will always have a scalpel to take, and once I get the scalpel, I can get straight to butchering people. While I run to Ruben's house, I want to talk about how I'm going to handle my reputation. Instead of ruining my reputation everywhere as soon as possible, each day I'll be getting 3 to 4 districts to hate me. This way, early on I have some access to stores. When I arrived at Ruben's house, I got the scalpel as well as a cloak and a few other miscellaneous items. Now that I had the scalpel, I put it to use immediately on this woman who jumped from the termitary. Thanks to her, I got my first set of organs of the run, a heart and a kidney. Next, I bought some food from a grocery store and stole the belongings and blood of these 3 dead guys. After that, I met with Grief. He gave me another scalpel to use on an injured friend of his. I bought some canned food and an egg from the Shady Shop, then took the boat to see Grief's friend. As requested, I removed the lockpick from the man's stomach, as well as a few other things he didn't need, such as his brain, heart, and liver. Doing this upset the guy's friend, and after I dealt with him, I used the last of my scalpel to take his brain. These were the first 2 kills of the run, and they were both very profitable. If the rest of my kills are similar to this, surviving should be simple. Now that I'm done here, I went to Lara's home to take some food and a knife. Here, I decided to kill myself. The first time you die on day 1, you'll be saved by some of Grief's friends, and it won't be counted as a death. So instead of walking all the way back to Grief's, I'm just gonna die. I left Lara's and picked a fight with this patrolman. I used this as an opportunity to test my fighting skills, but I ended up accidentally killing the man. Before I could finish looting his body, someone else ran up to fight me. I would have let him finish me off, but I wanted the loot from the guy I killed. After a few hits, my attacker fell, and I turned to find another man running at me. This was a very close fight, and in the end, I killed 3 people with only my fists. I looted all 3 corpses, and let the next person I saw land the killing blow. Now that I was back at the warehouse, I told Grief what happened with his friend. And since the quest is over, Var was waiting to speak with me. At Var's shop, I can sell organs and purchase medical supplies. This will be the main way I make money and get scalpels throughout the run. I went straight to Var's and sold all the organs and bottles of blood I had. On top of what I already had, the organ money added up to a total of 3,600. Next, I went all the way back to the factory and bought the revolver with my money. Now that I had something to protect me, I made my way to Town Hall to get arrested. Here I got some free food and slept. When I got out, I went to Vlad's to take some money. And with that, I finished everything important for today. So I'm going to use the rest of my time to work on my reputation. Today's target is the Skinners. First I bought what I could from a grocery store, then I chose a house to rob. I didn't find anything valuable, but on the second floor I came across a man and a woman, and I filled my pockets with their organs. This was enough to get me hated here in the Skinners, and also in the Tanners, the Hindquarters, and the Crude Sprawl. With my new set of organs, I took them back to Var to sell what I could. Then I bought some meat from a grocery store and went back to Vlad's when midnight hit. Normally at midnight I'll go over my dice rolls, but for this run I'll also be going over my total number of kills as well as my kills for the day. Anyways, today's kill count is a total of 7 people, including Piecework, who I never actually fought but still killed. Now that I'm at Vlad's, I'll be sleeping until day 2 starts. I decided to sleep through most nights, even if my exhaustion is empty. I'll be doing this because the things I can do during the night are very limited. I could wander the streets to find people to attack or rob houses, but I'm going to be doing plenty of that during the day and throughout the entire run, so I'd rather just sleep through the nights. When I woke up, I headed straight for my father's funeral and collected my inheritance. I spent my money on some food from the Shady Shop and lockpicks and ammo from Grief. Next, I went to my father's house to get the key to my lair. At the lair, I upgraded my inventory and fully repaired my revolver. Now I'm going to work on my reputation again, and today's target is the Bridge Square. Once I was in the Bridge Square, I got straight to robbing. After I finished looting a house, I found a pocket watch, a mask, and some smaller items. And I also added another person to the kill count. This was enough to become hated in the Bridge Square, the Atrium, and the Spleen. I wasn't fully satisfied yet, so I went for 3 more houses. I killed 3 more people and found another mask and more miscellaneous items. I still had plenty of time in my day, so I continued breaking into people's homes, but I did these next ones closer to my lair. When I was stealing from these houses, I came up with a sort of strategy for saving bullets and knife duration while killing people. I found that when you enter a room with a person in it, they won't attack you until you've stolen something from that room. This gives me the opportunity to utilize the game's stealth system. Since stealth attacks deal more damage, I can get behind someone, activate stealth, and attack. If I perform this correctly, I can kill most people with 3 hits using only my fists. And if I fail, I have my weapons as a backup. I ended up looting 4 more buildings. Some notable things I found were a charm, another mask, some smoked meat, and plenty bottles of blood. Next, I went to my lair to put things away and sleep off my exhaustion. On my way to see Var, midnight hit. Today's kill count is 9 people, and the total kill count is 16. At Var's, I sold all of my organs and bottles of blood. At the Shady Shop, I bought some canned food, fish, and pemmican, and at Grief's warehouse, I bought ammo and lockpicks. Then I went back to my lair to sleep off the night. I started day 3 with a visit to the Kynes. Here I asked Georgi to let me keep my father's house, and he agreed to let me keep it if I could deliver some papers to the prefect of the hindquarters. This means I have access to the building the prefect is in later, and I can get some extra loot. I decided I would deal with my reputation early today. This time I'm working in the backbone. Here I looted both halves of this building. In the future, when I rob similar buildings, I'll be counting these as 2 separate houses. Anyways, when I finished, I was hated in the chine, the flank, the marrow, and the gut, in addition to the backbone. Now I'm hated in every district except for the maw, which I'll be saving for tomorrow. From this building, I found some food, a few pieces of clothing, 2 charms, and a batch of organs. Next, I ran into a messenger from Notkin. His friend Patches has contracted the sand pest, and he wants my help. At Notkin's warehouse, I ran into Aspity. She offered to cure Patches instead, and I agreed. Agreeing to let Aspity cure Patches will result in her death, which means today I get my first bound kill of the run. While I let Aspity do her thing, I went to the building the hindquarters prefect was in. Here I found lots of money, some bottles of blood, and a lockpick. After this, I headed to the Shady Shop to sell all of my unwanted items, including the clothing I found. Later today, I'll be needed at Town Hall, so until then, I'm going to be robbing houses in the area. In one of the houses, I had a close call with a kid and his father, but I was able to get away with half my health. I ended up stealing from 8 homes before I was summoned to Town Hall. I was able to nearly fill my entire inventory with things to sell, food, and bottles of blood. I also reached the 7,000 monies mark. At Town Hall, everyone was preparing for the sand pest. Georgi asked me to look after Peter and Andre, and I'll also be checking on Anna Angel. I won't be giving immunity boosters to anyone, I'm just going to be stopping by to add them to my bound list. At Peter's, I stole some money and alcohol, and at Anna's, I took some food and more money. I spoke with Andre at the bar and went to my lair to put things away and deal with my exhaustion. Once again, it hit midnight and I got my first set of dice rolls. Tonight, both Notkin and Anna got infected. Today's kill count is 8, and the total kill count is 24. At Var's, I sold my organs and bought a scalpel. Then, at the Shady Shop, I bought some food, and at Grief's, I got ammo and lockpicks. After all this, I had 9,000 money to spare. Outside my lair, I was gifted some organs from some odongs, and inside, I slept till day 4. The first thing I did today was go to the theater. Every day, I'll be stopping by to take their medical supplies and also harvest organs from any corpses here. Next, I made my way to Lara's house. She gave me some food and told me about the broken water pumps. Because of this, she wants me to get a barrel of water for her shelter. Doing this will result in her area getting infected tomorrow, so of course I'll be helping her get the barrel. Before I dealt with this, I picked up my only ever fun reward from Town Hall. Then I went to the spleen. Here I found a barrel full of muddy water, and I ordered a guard to take it to Lara's shelter. Now it's time for me to deal with my reputation in the maw. I robbed the building and killed a person, and I was finally hated in the last district. And now nowhere will ever be completely safe again. Speaking of not being safe, on my way to Var's place, I got into a fight with a guard and was forced to run away when someone tried to help him. At Var's, I sold some organs I had, and I reached a total of 13,000 in money. This is probably the most amount of money I've ever held in this game. Anyway, the reason I'm mentioning how much money I have is because now I have enough to afford the shotgun, which will be sold by Grief on day 5. After I left Var's, I went back to the shelter to finish the water barrel quest. Around this time, I was told my father's house was being robbed. Normally, I won't bother with this quest, but this time I'm armed and I can get plenty of organs from the people I kill there. On my way inside, I murdered 2 people, and in the building, I killed another 3. On my way to the lair, I also decided to kill an infected person and take their organs too. Once I got to the lair, I put all of my organs away. From this point on, instead of selling all of my organs, I'll be setting aside most of them for a project I'm working on. And I'll reveal this project in a few days once I have more organs. Next, I slept off my exhaustion and made my way back to Vars to buy immunity boosters and another scalpel. Here, it became midnight. Grief got infected and Anna Angel died. Before I go over the kills, I realized I didn't specify this, but bound kills don't count towards my daily or total kills. Anyway, today's kill count is 8, and the total kill count is 32. At the Shady Shop, I bought some canned food and smoked meat, and at Grief's, I bought shotgun ammo since he wasn't selling any revolver ammo. At this point, I was looking at the map and realized that in some districts, my reputation went from hated to unwelcome or no one cares about you. I found out that after a district is infected, then burned, and goes back to normal, your reputation will increase to either unwelcome or no one cares. Because of this, each day I'll be going into these districts and correcting my reputation. Once I finished shopping, I went back to the lair and slept away the night. I wasted a good chunk of my morning looking for a baby to rescue from an infected home. Originally, I wanted to use a baby in my organ project, but after not being able to find one, I found out that babies can only spawn in and be saved if Anna Angel is still alive. After this news, I continued on with my other things. I took some morphine and pills from the hospital and went to the tanner's to correct my reputation. Here, I removed a full set of organs from a man and my reputation was back to hated. In another building, I harvested a liver and a kidney from someone else. Outside, I ran into some kinfolk and agreed to help with the bull sacrifice. After breaking into a few more homes, I went back to my lair to put the organs and other things away. While I was clearing my inventory, I remembered that I could have been buying food from the bar, so I went straight over and bought a Kosk and smoked meat. After this, I ran into Clara. She asked me to look after the Severovs, and I declined. Doing this makes it so that Clara won't help you save Murky later. Next, I decided I wanted to see what kind of loot I could get from a burned house. Shortly after I entered, I killed someone, and while I was taking his things, someone else came in behind me and stabbed me. I paused just in time and healed myself, and I had to use all of my bandages and tourniquets to get out without dying. This was my first and last time entering one of these homes. While I wait for the bull sacrifice, I spent my time robbing and killing in normal districts. After I finished, I had slaughtered 7 people, and I found toast, eggs, Kosks, 2 tourniquets, a bandage, and other miscellaneous items. At the Raggy Barrow, I helped cut the bull, and in exchange I was given some meat and a Menku's finger. Next, I went back to the lair and slept. Once it was dark out, I went to Vars to sell my bottles of blood and buy medical supplies. Here, midnight hit. No one died today, but Lara got infected. Today's kill count is 12, and the total kill count is 44. Next, I bought some canned food and other things from the Shady Shop, and at Grief's I was able to buy a shotgun and some ammo. Back at the lair, I fully repaired my shotgun and slept. I started the day by correcting my reputation in the gut. Here, I extracted a full set of organs from a person, and in another building, I got a heart, kidney, and liver. Now that my reputation is once again hated, I went to the hospital to get a scalpel and try to get some infected organs for the project. I also met Yulia today, and this made me realize I never spoke with Maria, so she's not on my list. I ran straight over to the bridge square to speak with her, and then to Vars to sell some of my organs. Next, I went back to the lair to put away the rest of my organs, and with my new inventory space, I went out to rob some more. While I was looting things, I killed 4 people and was able to get a brain, 2 livers, and 2 kidneys. My inventory was almost full, and I wanted to use my last bit of scalpel on some infected organs, so I killed an infected person. With no additional space, I once again went back to the lair. After putting everything away, I realized that the base of the project is nearly done. All that I need is an infected liver and kidney. Then I can reveal what I've been doing with all the organs. Next, I slept away my exhaustion, and at night I went to the Crowstone to meet Murky and her friend. Since I didn't help Clara earlier, Murky died, raising the number of dead bound to 3. And now it was midnight. Tonight, Grief died, and Alexander, Katerina, Victor, Georgi, Eva, Peter, and Maria all got infected. Today's kill count is 7, and the total kill count is 51. Next, I bought some smoked meat and milk from the Shady Shop. I would also buy ammo from Grief, but since he's dead, I'll have to wait for Barley to show up. Then, I slept until day 7. Today, the Inquisitor arrived, and I was told that Ruben died. He'll die if you haven't produced a panacea before day 7. I went straight to the bridge square to buy a scalpel from Var and correct my reputation here. Then I spoke with Aglaya. She informed me of Ruben's production of a panacea, and she tasked me with finding the ingredients. My thoughts directed me to Var to ask him about the blood used in the panacea, and after talking with him, I realized I needed to investigate Shiken. While I was walking to Shiken, I got a thought bubble telling me to speak with Capella. If I went, Capella would tell me about Grace and the situation at the cemetery, but as long as I ignore helping Grace, I can get another bound kill. At Shiken, I spoke with Oyen and discovered that the blood needed for the panacea comes from the abattoir. Next, I went to the termitary and spoke with the kin. The kin tasked me with bringing in one of the Olgimskis for them to kill, but if I don't interfere and don't bring either Vlad, both of them will come on their own and I can get both of them killed. While I wait for this to happen, I went to the theater. Starting today, there won't be any supplies to take. I'm just here to take some organs. I was able to get the infected kidney and liver I needed, so when I get back to the lair, I can finally reveal my project. But before I do that, I realized my reputation in the marrow needed some work. I took this time to break into 3 buildings and murder 5 people. I didn't find anything notable, but I did find a charm. Next, I went to my lair to put things away. Here I added my infected kidney and liver into the cabinet with all the other organs I've been collecting. I'm going to be calling this the Gore cabinet from now on. Earlier, I mentioned that this is only the base. I want to try to completely fill the top half of the cabinet before the game ends. And to do this, I'm going to need a total of 84 bottles of blood and organs. I'm not entirely sure if I can get this done, but from now on, I won't be selling organs anymore in order to accomplish this. After I put my things away, I went back to the termitary. Here, both of the Vlads were captured by the kin, and I was given my next task of killing the schismed members of the kin. I used a bit of my shotgun to do this and used my knife to kill the rest. My exhaustion wasn't too high yet, so I wanted to get a few more kills in and rob a few houses before I need to sleep. I looted 3 houses and got plenty of bottles of blood and some food items. I also managed to kill a total of 9 people in these houses. Then I went back to the lair and slept until midnight. At midnight, I got my dice rolls. Sticky got infected and both Maria and Eva died. This brings the number of dead bound up to 9. Today's kill count is 14 and the total kill count is 65. Tonight, all I did was buy some bread from the shady shop before returning to the lair to sleep away the night. Once the sun was up, I went to the bridge square to speak with the Inquisitor and buy a scalpel from Var. Now that I had a scalpel, I went to the hospital to collect some organs. I got an infected heart and kidney, and a normal heart and kidney, and some infected bottles of blood. I didn't have to correct my reputation anywhere today, so I'm gonna have a lot of time to raid homes. Next, I went back to my lair to repair the 2 scalpels I had. Then I walked all the way back to the theater to get all the other organs I couldn't get earlier. After this, I started my robbing spree. I spent all day stealing and killing. I racked up a total of 10 kills during this, and I broke the rest of my scalpels collecting more organs. I would have had more bottles of blood, but I've been running past most trash cans to avoid being attacked, so I don't have as many bottles as I should. During my raid, I also filled my pockets with trading items and things to sell to the shady shop. Previously, I was ignoring these items, but since I'm not selling organs anymore, I'm gonna need these items for money. When I got back to the lair, I slept until midnight and got my dice rolls. Lara, Grace, Alexander, Sticky, and Peter died. Today's kill count is 13, and the total kill count is 78. As usual, I went to the shady shop, but I didn't buy any food this time, and I probably won't be anymore. I think I have enough food on me and in my cabinet to last the next few days, and I want to save as much money as possible for ammo and scalpels. Speaking of ammo, Barley finally showed up and I was able to buy some revolver ammo before returning to the lair to sleep until day 9. Today the army arrives. Their soldiers will be replacing all of the town's patrolmen, and unlike the patrolmen, the army doesn't care about your reputation, so the town is now slightly safer for me. To start the day, I bought a scalpel from Var and went to the hospital. I collected a mix of normal and infected organs for the cabinet. After the theater, I met the commander at town hall, then went to the hindquarters for my reputation today. While robbing, I racked up a few kills and found some casks and smoked meat. I also collected enough bottles of blood to fill all of my stacks in the cabinet. When I finished looting, I got a messenger from Oyen. The abattoir is open and I can go in. First, I put my organs away in the lair, then headed for the abattoir. I got through the abattoir without any issues and added the 5 odongs in there to my kill count. I have no use for the blood here, and I could have skipped coming, but I got a free Menku's finger out of this. Once I left the abattoir, it was midnight. Katerina, Victor, and Georgi died. This leaves 7 people who still need to die, including Oyen and Aglaya. I'm nearing the end of the game, and Yulia and Andre have somehow completely avoided getting infected, and it seems very likely that the 2 of them will survive. Today's kill count is 13, and the total kill count is 91. Next, I sold my things to the shady shop and went to sleep. After sleeping, Murky's friend infected the remaining kids on my list. Since the end is near, this is my last chance for Taya, Khan, and Capella to die. The first thing I did today was go to Shiken to discover that Oyen killed my father. Then I went to the abattoir to kill the foreman. After burying him, I walked all the way to Vars to get today's scalpel, and at the theater I realized that the hospital is now closed. The hospital was my main source of infected organs, so now if I want any, I'll have to go through an infected district. Next, I started robbing houses. I found a repellent cloak and collected the last brains and hearts needed to finish some stacks in the cabinet. While looking for another place to rob, I found that my reputation in the gut needed some work, but before I could do that, a messenger from the Inquisitor dragged me to the cathedral. Before heading back to the gut, I cleared my inventory at the lair. While putting away organs, I noticed that besides plenty of infected stuff, I only need a few kidneys and livers to fully stack all of the normal organs. Now that my inventory was empty, I fixed my reputation and stole some pills, miscellaneous items, kidneys, and livers. Next, my thoughts directed me to the cathedral to speak with Aglaia. Here, I agreed to take a train and run away with her. Aglaia will die even if I don't go with her, but it feels fitting that I play some part in her death, so I'll be meeting her later tonight. Once again, I went back to my lair. I put away some kidneys and livers and slept until midnight. This is my final set of dice rolls, and the only person who died was Taya. Capella, Khan, Yulia, and Andre are the only people to survive. Today's kill count is 10, and the total kill count is 101. I sold some things to the shady shop, and on my way to meet Aglaia, I was attacked by 2 bandits. I dealt with them, and I boarded the train with Aglaia and left the town. Soon after, the army stopped us and executed Aglaia. And with that, besides the 4 I mentioned earlier, I killed every bound I could. I walked all the way back to the lair and slept until the final day. I've decided I'm going to go for the nocturnal ending. Part of the nocturnal ending involves a lot of the bound walking into the steppe, presumably to their death, and this includes my 4 survivors. So technically, through the nocturnal ending, I would have killed all of the bound. Before I get started with the day, I need to review the gore cabinet. To finish the stacks of uninfected organs, I need 1 kidney and 3 livers, and I'm also going to need any infected organs I can get. I'm definitely not going to fill the entire cabinet, but I'm going to try to get as many organs as possible today. I want to have plenty of time for killing, so I need to deal with this courier quest quickly. I went to Town Hall to start the quest, then to the first outpost with the Bachelor. On my way to the second outpost, I stopped at Vars to buy my final scalpel. At the second outpost, I took the rifle and safely escaped the soldiers. At the final outpost, I got the Inquisitor's papers and began to wander the town looking for people to kill. At the time of recording this, I didn't know what the total kill count was at, and I wanted to make sure I hit 100, so I attacked almost everyone I saw today. Using the rifle, I killed a wandering soldier and took out another 2 stationed outside of an infected district. From these 3 people, I got the last kidney and livers I needed. Inside the infected district, I shot 3 infected people and broke my scalpel taking their organs. While leaving the district, I murdered this guy and then another soldier. Outside of the district were 2 more soldiers. I shot one of them and finished off the other with my knife. It's almost night, so I'm gonna need to wrap up soon. Next, I ran through a few buildings wielding my knife, not stopping to take anything and just killing whoever I saw. After that, I went back to my lair to add the last organs to the cabinet. Once everything was in, I added it all up. I was 18 organs away from completing my work. I was missing 6 infected kidneys, 8 infected livers, and 4 infected bottles of blood. In total, I filled my cabinet with 117 organs and bottles of blood. Since today doesn't have a midnight, I'll be going over the final kill count now. Today I had my highest daily kill count of 16 people. And the final total kill count, which once again doesn't include any of the bound, is 117 people, which I'm now realizing is the exact same number of total organs saved. Now that I've done everything I needed to do, I went outside and burned the Inquisitor's orders. Instead of walking around the town with Sticky, I was accompanied by Measly. I watched as Capella, Khan, Yulia, and Andre were rejected from the town to hopefully die in the steppe, and eventually we reached the Theater of Death where I spoke to each of the bound I killed. And upon speaking with Mark, the game was over. This was certainly a fun and unique way to play Pathologic. In hindsight, I should have played on a slightly higher difficulty. At the end, I had plenty of leftover food, and besides once or twice, I never really got into any dangerous situations. I have more Pathologic related content planned for the future, so if you're interested, maybe subscribe, and thanks for watching.